This is the case of CalebHill Junior and how he was mysteriously murdered, and some people think it was a lynching. If you want to know more about this case, please continue watching.
You are watching Roll a Mile in My Shoes TV.
Senator Jon Ossoff is pushing for authorities to reopen the cold case involving the death of a Middle Georgia man by a lynch mob in 1949. Ossoff's office states that CalebHill Junior was in custody at the Wilkinson County Jail the night he was taken out of the jail and shot to death. CalebHill was arrested for stabbing another black man, according to Wilkinson County Sheriff George Hatcher. Hill removed Hatcher's gun while he was trying to question another witness, and Hill attempted to shoot him with his own gun. The next morning, Hill's body was tragically found on the side of a road only 3 miles from the jail. While the GBI did not bring charges against 2 white men, an all-white grand jury refused to indict them. The FBI also investigated the case and interviewed around 165 possible witnesses, but agents were met with hostility from both the GBI and the local community. The case remains unsolved, and Hill's death certificate, where his name was spelled CALIB, remains the final word, shot through the head by hands unknown. The senator expressed in a U.S. Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Official Affairs Committee hearing today, which was at the time of this article, his support for the Civil Rights Cold Case Records Review Board. The board would investigate unsolved murders that happened during the Civil Rights era. Ossoff has secured comments from 4 nominees who will investigate Georgia cold cases. 2 of the nominees from Georgia. These nominees are Emory University's Hank Kilbanoff, Northeastern University's Margaret Burnham, historian Brenda Elaine Stevenson, and instruction activist Gabriel Dudley. Burnham shared that she and Kilbanoff have already gathered several documents on Hill's case. Kilbanoff says with many of these cases, the communities may not even know they happened. These were not covered stories that were covered in the local newspaper, in many cases not in the weekly newspapers. In the black newspapers they were, but not in the main white newspapers. So there's not a lot of education that we feel like is important to bring to these communities. Now, I know that sometimes things can happen and it might, be a little strange. And sometimes, the truth can be so crazy that it can sound fictional almost. So some people find it better to lie than tell the truth. At least that's what a good friend of mine told me. I just don't understand how this man was taken out of his cell in the middle of the night when he's supposed to be held in police custody, and then later he's found dead on the side of the road 3 miles away from the jail. Now, it is my understanding that the sheriff says that Caleb Hill Jr., grabbed his gun while he was trying to question another witness and tried to shoot him with his own gun. Now, I find this really, really hard to believe, seeing as the year it was, which was 1949, and the fact that Mr. Caleb Hill Jr. was a black man, and not to say, that he was a child almost, just saying that, Mr. Hill would have kind of, known the consequences if he would have done this, because I'm pretty sure he's heard of or seen people on the news being murdered by police officers, and I'm pretty sure that he, his friends, and his family have all had the same conversations that we still have to this day, that, we don't want that to be us or our children. So we try to do everything that we can, which is comply with the police, so that we can simply make it home or make it to our destination that we're trying to reach when we're stopped or whatever by the police. So for Mr. Hill to have grabbed this police officer's gun, while he was trying to question another witness, is hard for me to believe. Now, I think what happened is, these police officers, they talk, and word got around the jail that, Hill was arrested for whatever reason, the case may be, is that he shot a black man or stabbed a black man. And they were going to basically, teach him a lesson. So they took him out of his jail cell in the middle of the night and roughed him up, and it got out of hand, and he was shot or stabbed and killed by these police officers. Now, some people, consider it to be a lynching, but I find that strange because, if someone is going to be lynched, usually they're strung up to a tree or some kind of fixture that will not move while they're hanging there. And it's usually done in plain sight where their body can be found. But if you guys like this case, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.